everybody, Charlie Stevens here. Thank you so much for joining me for another guitar lesson. In this lesson I'd like to show you how to play Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. So this is an iconic riff and definitely one of the first things that I learned how to play on the guitar. So we're just going to do a super simple version today, and I'm doing it on acoustic to match with any viewers out there that only have an acoustic. But that's the way I learned it. When I was a kid, I played all these rock tunes on acoustic, and then down the road I learned how to mess with distortion and stuff like that, and that's really fun too. But anyway, I've been teaching stuff on acoustic just to kind of match people who may only have an acoustic and are kind of newbies to guitar in general. But anyhow, in this riff, we use a couple of concepts that we recently learned about on this channel. So we recently learned about movable power chords. And this is going to use those movable power chords. This riff here, that's a power chord, and I'm moving it. Okay, so it starts on a D power chord. So how do we find that? Well, we need to find the note D. I'm going to use the 6th string. We're going to find it on the low 6th string. So a quick way to find D is to know that the 12th fret is where it repeats. So if I know that this string here is my low E, then that means I know my 12th fret is also E, right? And then I can walk backwards through my musical alphabet. E, E flat, D, here on the 10th fret. Okay, so I'm going to make a power chord here. Okay, so check out my lesson on movable power chords if this is going too quickly for you. But basically we have this shape. So 10th fret, that's where my D is. I'm going to use my first finger for that. My third finger is going to play here on the 12th fret of the A string. This finger's not doing anything, by the way. It's kind of just hanging out there. I can also double this note. If you know how to play a full bar chord, you actually can do that, but it sounds cooler with just kind of a power chord, I think. Sometimes I would mix and match those when I was learning this. But anyhow, we've only learned about the power chord so far on this channel, so that's what we're gonna use today. So we have this D power chord with either this version or the version that has 3 strings. Please watch the movable power chord lesson if you're confused about that. We have these 2 different versions. So we're gonna go down 2 frets to, and then back up. D down to C. That's how that goes. Down, down, 2 downs. Let me go down to C. Same shape, 2 frets lower. Play it again, back up 2 frets. That's it. Pretty easy, right? I'm using all downstrokes for that. Okay, the next part of the riff. Does that look familiar to you? If you watched my lesson on the movable blues scale shapes, then hopefully you'll recognize that was a D blues scale that I just played. We can go all the way up, we know the whole scale, but in this riff we actually just, they kind of walk through the juicy part where the blue note is, huh? And then it doesn't go all the way down the scale. If we were playing the scale in order from here, we'd get the pinky first. They kind of reverse the order on that string, so we go down here, and then we switch over here. Okay, so it's 3rd finger on the 12th fret, 2nd finger on the 11th fret, this is all the A string, and index finger on the 10th fret. Now the index finger is going to jump over to the 10th fret of the low E. Now our pinky's going to go up to the 13th fret and back to the 1st finger on the 10th fret. Okay, so we put that together now. We have the, and then that repeats. Then this whole idea moves to G, okay? So we're actually just going to move the whole thing over a string. G is right here. Let's confirm that. What string is this? The 5th string. A, right? So that means that the 12th fret is what note? Also A, right? So we can go backwards to find G. A flat, G, right here. Same frets. Okay, so now we're on different strings, but it's the same frets. 10 and 12, dropping down to 8 and 10, back up to 10 and 12. that pattern was the same too. We just moved it over strings. Now we're on the D string. This is going through a G blues kind of thing. Okay, so on the D string here, 12th fret, 11th, 10th, then our finger hops over to 10th of the 5th string, pinky up to 13th fret, back. Okay? Then we go back to there again. Okay, so that's a little bit easier on electric, but this is the minor third, kind of bending it in between the minor and the major third. That's a very important concept in blues, rock, bluegrass, jazz, the mixing of the major and the minor third. That's something that we'll spend a whole lesson at least talking about. But if you know, you know. That's what that is, right? So we don't really have to do that, but I do hear Clapton doing that sometimes over the D. Instead of walking down the normal way, he'll go, and then instead of these last two notes, he goes, sometimes he goes and plays more than one string, kind of barring these, kind of doing little double stops. Okay, so that's a little bit advanced. I'm not going to go crazy with that. If you're able to hear that and pick it out, great. But in simple, it's just kind of 12th fret on G, 10th fret. That's where we kind of pull it out of tune a little bit. And then land on the 12th fret of D. Sometimes he goes 12, 10, 12, kind of real quick. Okay, little ornamentation, you don't really have to do that. But basically that's the whole tune. Hangs out on D, jumps over to G, does the same idea, goes back to D. With the option of going for flavor every once in a while. Okay, then it goes into this part. And then there's a ripping guitar solo too, with lots of little bends and stuff. It's a pretty cool solo. We couldn't do that on the acoustic, okay? So we'll have to wait until another time, and we can maybe check out that solo. I learned it once long ago. I don't remember it right now, but I do remember it was cool. Lots of mixing of the major and minor pentatonic sounds, and a lot of cool stuff going on. So I do recommend that solo. All right. So yeah, that's basically the whole tune though, other than the solo. There's some singing over those parts too. Alright, so just kind of a fun riff for you to try here. These chords, by the way, are A, C, and G. We could do that with power chords. A would be here on the 5th fret, and then we could either go up to the 8th fret for C, and then down to the 3rd fret for G, or we can go A, still here at the 5th fret, we can get that C here, rooted off the 5th string. We talked about how to move power chords rooted on the 5th string too, so we have a C here. That sounds really cool too, okay? I like the open strings sometimes, kind of depends. Or even the full bar chords, if you happen to know your full bar chords. I think that's what I used to do when I was first learning this. But yeah, I think the power chords will be a great option. Option to go up there, that was the same thing, I just played my C in a different place. Okay, so that's kind of like a dotted quarter note, 1 and 2 and 3, right? And then I come up on the end of 2. if you want to think about that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Right? Technically that'd be a faster subdivision that we haven't learned about yet, so I won't go too crazy on the rhythm. I'll let you do monkey see, monkey do kind of thing where you just listen to it and copy. It's not that hard. It's down, up, down. Okay? Down, up, down. Don't worry too much about the exact subdivision of it and everything. But you could think about it using our new dotted quarter note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's kind of too slow, right? So we would actually use a different way of representing that probably. But when I learned this song, I didn't know any of that stuff, okay? I heard it and I just matched the strum. Okay, and I think that's a good path for somebody who's kind of new to this, because rock can be kind of simple, but also kind of deceptively complex when it comes to some of these rhythms and stuff. And understanding exactly what they are can be a great endeavor, but I don't think you really need to burden yourself in that at first. I think it's okay if you're just hearing it and matching what you hear. That's probably a good way to go about it. Okay? All right. Well, awesome. I really hope you enjoyed learning that riff, Sunshine of Your Love. That's one of my favorite ones that I have loved to play ever since I learned it on guitar years and years ago. So I hope you enjoy playing that too. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this guitar lesson. Please subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in another lesson really soon. Thanks again. Bye.